Ever wonder what happened to those artists who seemed destined for superstardom, only not to fulfill their potential? In this video, we're diving deep into the stories of talented musicians whose career took a different path to what was expected. Whether it was a series of unfortunate decisions or a single misstep, we will explore the rise, fall, and untold stories of wasted talent in the music industry. We will start with Sky Ferreira. Sky started making music young, uploading her own songs to MySpace at 14. This caught the attention of music producers, who signed her to a record label. She also dabbled in acting and modeling at the age of 15. After some early singles gained minor chart success, she released the well-received As If EP and landed modeling gigs with Calvin Klein. She then announced a studio album several times with different titles and collaborators, but none materialized. Instead, she released another EP, Ghost, which gained some critical acclaim and a TV performance slot. Sky finally released her debut album, Nighttime My Time, in 2013. It blended electronic and indie rock sounds and debuted moderately well on the charts. It received overwhelmingly positive reviews from critics, and she was destined to become the new edgy pop star. But she was facing challenges, as the album rollout was eventful, with multiple name changes and a tour cancellation due to vocal issues. Around the same time, she acted in a film, got arrested for drug possession, and opened for Miley Cyrus on the Bangers tour. Her early work leaned towards electropop with rebellious and angsty lyrics. As she matured, her sound incorporated more indie rock, and her lyrics explored themes of love and insecurity. Some critics compared her artistry to Lana Del Rey. She then announced her second album, Masochism, in 2015, but its release faced delays. Despite expressing frustration and a commitment to quality, she only released 2 singles, Downhill Lullaby and Don't Forget. Despite her talent, her career has been marked by delays and struggles with labels, with some attributing that to her perfectionism. She had a lot of promise when she came out a decade ago, but we're still waiting on her second album, which is expected to be released in 2024, but no one knows. Aelia Banks. The infamous Aelia Banks had a difficult childhood. Her father died when she was young, and her mother became abusive. Despite this, she found a passion for music and theater at a young age. By 16, she was starring in a musical, but ultimately decided to pursue music instead. She started releasing songs online, which caught the attention of a record label. However, she left the label due to creative differences. After leaving the label, things got tough for Aelia. She moved to Canada but had to return to New York due to visa issues. She had to take on low-paying jobs to make ends meet. However, her music career took a turn for the better in September 2011 when she released her debut single 212 for free.
I was in the 212, I'm the uptown A nigga, you know what's up or don't you?
The song initially achieved some success in Europe, which helped her gain recognition. It ended up becoming her biggest song, showcasing her ability to experiment with sounds and her rap ability. She continued to work with other artists and release music online, including her EP 1991, which contained her hit song 212. This EP had moderate success on the charts in the US and the UK. In an era where there was a lack of female rappers, she stood out. She continued working on her debut album, Broke with Expensive Taste, throughout 2012 and 2013. In July 2013, she had a major development when she parted ways with her record label. Finally, in November 2014, she released her debut album, Independently. The album debuted at number 30 on the Billboard 200, selling 11,000 copies, which was low, but not that bad for an independent artist. But this ended up becoming her only studio album, as she has only released EPs and mixtapes since then. Aelia draws inspiration from a wide range of artists, including Beyonce and Aaliyah, and black queer culture. This is reflected in her musical style, which blends hardcore hip-hop, indie pop, and dance music. But more than her music, Aelia is known for her online feuds and controversies. She has made it her job to get into arguments with other celebrities on social media. She has been removed from airplanes for causing problems. She has also made racist and homophobic comments online, and has been criticized for her practices related to witchcraft and her deceased cat. These controversies have overshadowed her music career for many people. If she was a stable person, we could only imagine how big she would have become, especially these days. Carrie Hilson. Carrie Hilson showed interest in music from a young age. By age 14, she had secured a record deal with her girl group Design. She spent most of her teenage years working as a songwriter and background vocalist for famous artists like Usher, Ludacris, Kelly Rowland, and Toni Braxton. She also attended college for 3 years, but eventually focused on her music career. In 2006, she was signed to Timbaland's record label, Mosley Music Group. In the following year, she was featured on Timbaland's huge #1 hit, The Way I Are, which became her big break. Then she finally released her debut album In the Perfect World in 2009, after several delays. The album was very successful, with singles like Turnin' Me On featuring Lil Wayne, which reached the top 15, and Knock You Down featuring Kanye West and Neo, which peaked at number 3 on the Hot 100. Knock You Down was certified double platinum. In addition to her own album, she continued to be featured on other artists' songs. She was then recognized with nominations at award shows like BET Awards and American Music Awards. Then her next album, No Boys Allowed, was released in December 2010. In addition to her music career, she also branched out into acting in 2012, with a role in the rom-com film Think Like a Man. She then stepped back from releasing new music after that, and No Boys Allowed is still her latest album. One big hurdle in her career was the feud she got into with Beyoncé. It was sparked by the line in her song, "Your vision cloudy if you think you're the best. You can dance, she can sing, but you need to move it to the left," which was a reference to Beyoncé's song Irreplaceable. The Beehive ran with that and made life difficult for her at the time. Victoria Justice. Victoria started acting at a young age. In 2003, she landed a small role on Gilmore Girls, and soon after moved to LA to pursue acting full-time. She appeared in a variety of shows and commercials, before landing a starring role on the Nickelodeon series Zoe 101 in 2005. The show became a big hit and helped launch Victoria's career. In 2009, she started developing her own show on Nickelodeon called Victorious. Dan Schneider, who had cast her in Zoe 101, created the show specifically for her talents in acting, singing, and dancing. The show's debut was a major success, becoming the second highest rated premiere for a live-action Nickelodeon series. She was set up to become a huge pop star on the show, as it focused on her performing and singing talents. In 2012, she signed with Columbia Records and began recording her debut album. After that, she released her debut single Gold in June 2013, but it did not perform well commercially. In 2014, she left Columbia Records, and her debut album failed to materialize, but she continued to work on new music independently. Victoria continues to act after the success of Victorious, and she has landed a variety of roles after that. In 2023, she released a new single, Last Man Dancing, and hinted at an upcoming debut studio album. Overall, Victoria's music career never really got started. While she achieved some success with her singles from her Nickelodeon shows, her attempt at a mainstream pop career with Columbia Records wasn't successful. However, her recent return to music as an independent artist shows her continued dedication to music. With Victorious, Nickelodeon was setting her up to be a star, but Ariana Grande, who played a side character on the show, became the bona fide pop star she was supposed to be. Duffy. Duffy started her career singing in local bands and participated in a Welsh talent show. This led to her recording an EP and working with music producers who helped shape her soulful sound. Her debut album Rock Fairy was released in 2008 and became a big success. It was critically acclaimed, spawned hit singles like Mercy and Warwick Avenue. The album's success came after years of work for Duffy, who had been building a following in the UK. The album was critically acclaimed and achieved essential status in the blue-eyed soul genre. It was well received by other artists in the genre, including Adele. She herself draws inspiration from classic soul artists like Marvin Gaye and modern artists like Arcade Fire. Rock Fairy was a massive success, winning her a Grammy for Pop Vocal Album and multiple Brit Awards. It even gained her a nomination for Best New Artist at the Grammys. However, this success came with a price. The pressure and constant work almost made her quit music altogether. Despite this, she continued to make music. She then released her second album, Endlessly, on November 29, 2010. The album was less successful than her debut, peaking at number 9 in the UK. After that, she seemed to be working on new music with different producers, but nothing materialized. She eventually made a surprise appearance at a tribute concert in 2013. However, she stayed out of the spotlight for a long time. In 2020, she finally revealed she had been a victim of sexual assault, which explained her hiatus from music. She was on the road to achieving the kind of success Adele had in the early 2010s. It just didn't pan out. What do you think? Tell me in the comments below, and stay tuned for part 2.